Good morning. It is a chilly day here, and we have just a little smackerel of snow on the ground. So I'm at my front door. I thought maybe you'd want to see. Yeah, they called for snow showers. This is our snow. I don't really think that most of you who've already experienced quite a bit of snow would call this snow. But when the forecast says that it's going to be a cool, crisp day, they got that one right. And I'll talk to all of you in just a little while. Well, if you remember, I had made the cake that I'm going to be taking to my sister's house previously, so I had to open up a big can of pumpkin, and I have all this pumpkin left over because that cake, it only took a half a cup. So I thought, gee, you know what? I think what I need to do is I need to make some pumpkin bread. But I am, again, going to be making the paleo pumpkin bread that is grain-free, and it's made with the nut flours and maple syrup for sweetening. Anyways, I'm going to be using my food processor. And this is actually going to be probably only the second time that I've used it for lots of chopping and shredding of vegetables. This is the first time that I have a recipe that's actually telling me to mix my ingredients with it instead of my mixer. So anyways, let's get this show on the road. So first, what I thought I would do is tell you what the ingredients are. And they are 2 eggs. It's 3/4 of a cup of sun butter or almond butter. And I'm using almond butter because I didn't have enough sun butter. Our maple syrup, the pumpkin, and 3 tablespoons of the palm shortening or ghee or unsalted butter. And if you're not familiar with palm shortening, this is the brand that I use. It happens to be the brand that my grocery store that I go to carries. And this is a certified non-GMO. It's also certified not to be hurting the rainforests. And it's fair trade certified, and it's a good brand for you to make sure that your palm shortening is coming from a source that cares about the environment. And the other thing that we are going to need is lemon juice, vanilla extract, arrowroot powder, cinnamon, nutmeg, baking powder, baking soda, ginger, salt, and a little bit of lemon zest. But I don't have any lemon zest. But what I do have is my lemon essential oils. And so if you don't have zest, 2 to 3 drops of your lemon essential oil is 1 teaspoon of zest. Anyways, that's what we're going to do, and according to my instructions, yay, I get to use my food processor, so I'm going to move on up this camera. Oh, and there was another thing that I wanted to tell you. If you're unfamiliar with nut butters, like this is almond butter. These are, they're going to separate. The oil from the nut butter is going to separate. So what you do is you store it upside down. And so even after you open it, you're going to store it upside down. Just like, yeah, make sure that you have this on nice and tight, or you're going to have oil all over your cupboard. So I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Otherwise, you're going to have to dump it all out. You're going to have to mix it all up because you need those oils. Otherwise, it's just really, really, really dry. According to the directions, it says in your food processor, you are going to combine your eggs and our almond butter. Get all that goodness out of there, right? And let me see. I want to make sure I'm not doing this wrong. Our maple syrup, our pumpkin, and you have to make sure that this is pure pumpkin puree. It's not a pumpkin pie filling. And our palm shortening, which was just 3 tablespoons. And let me see here. Oh, our lemon juice and our vanilla, which I put in this little jar here so I could have it pre-measured out. I believe that is it. So we are going to put our top on. And it says to puree for 30 seconds. All right. So now, oh, that does look nice and creamy. Look at that. So now what we're going to do is in here I have my arrowroot starch flour, my cinnamon, nutmeg, baking powder, baking soda, my ginger, and my salt. I'm going to put that in here now. And I'm also going to be putting in my 3 drops of lemon essential oil because this is in place of my zest. And it says blend again for another 30 seconds. All right. Well, doesn't that look nice? Now, what I forgot to tell you is that we were to preheat our oven at 350, and we were to line a loaf pan with parchment paper. And this is Danielle Walker's Against All Grain, and this is her recipe. And one of the things that she said is to spray your pan with some cooking spray, then put your parchment paper in, and yeah, that really made it a lot easier because it stuck to the sides. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour this in here, and I think I need to take out this. Oh, can you tell that I haven't done this before with food processor? Get some of this goodness off of here. Wow. Everything in me tells me to take a little swipe with my finger and give it a try. So we're just going to go ahead and pour this in here. And it says this is going to cook for an hour. And it will be done when toothpick inserted in it comes out clean. So I'll go ahead and I'll get this finished up, get it in the oven, and I'll be sure to show you what it looks like. I'm not going to be able to test it though because, yeah, going to my sister's, that's where it's going. So I'll let you know when I talk to you on Monday how good it was. And when I'm done with this, I'm going to get on that chocolate cake. Talk to y'all in just a little bit. For our devotion today, we will be reading from Philippians chapter 3, verse 20. Our citizenship is in heaven, from which we also eagerly wait for the Savior. There's a story in the book My God of Comfort and Hope by Billy Graham about a young widow that I want to tell you about. He says there was a young widow and her son who lived in a miserable attic apartment. Years before, she had married against her parents' wishes and had gone with her husband to live in a foreign land. He had proved to be irresponsible and unfaithful, and after a few years, he died without having made any provision for her and the child. It was with the utmost difficulty that she was able to even manage to scrape together enough for the bare necessities of life. One day, the postman knocked at her attic apartment door. The mother recognized the handwriting on the letter, and with trembling fingers, she broke the seal. There was a check and a slip of paper with just 2 words. Come home. The reason I wanted to share this story is because when you see this video, it will be November 11th. And that is the date of my little boy's death. It will be 18 years now that my Timmy heard those words from our Savior. Come home. We have a great God that truly desires to bring us comfort. And I was at work on the day that my son died. His brother, who was a year older than him, and his sister, who was 18 years old at the time, were home. My daughter told me afterwards that as she sat on the floor crying and holding her little brother, she felt a hand on her shoulder, and in a still small voice, she heard, "He's okay. He's with me now." You know, someday a similar experience will be ours, an experience shared by all who know Christ. We do not know when we will be called. It may be when we are in the midst of our work. It may be after an illness. But someday, a loving hand will be laid upon our shoulders, and we will hear the words, "Come home." With that, I want to remind you, life happens. Let's enjoy it. And I don't think that there'll ever be more comforting words that we'll ever hear than, "Come home." God bless, and I will talk to you on Monday.